but I don't think you have to worry because you have integrity not to pander. Yeah, I would never pander to an audience. If if I think something, you're gonna hear what I think. You're not going to hear a watered down version, to the point where like it's at my detriment. Like I was in a call with No the other day, and No Thank You said, one of my biggest problems is that I don't know how to dog whistle. I just whistle. Um, and I thought that was just like a funny joke for a moment, but I thought about it more deeply, and I think he's absolutely right. Like, I just do not know how to keep my mouth shut, and so I end up alienating a lot of people because of that. But where I differ from him on this is I think that's actually a good thing. Like, there have been so many times when I've been very honest about like negative aspects of myself, for example, where he's gone, bro, this is gonna alienate people. Like, this is gonna, like, this is bad PR. That's a thing he loves to say. This is bad PR. Uh, and I'll just go, well, my channel is about being honest. Like if it alienates some people, fuck them. Like they, you know, I don't want to have those people around. If they can't handle it, if they can't take it, they can fuck off. Um, can I ask how you have the confidence not to bow down? Because usually some people who are autistic can't do it with confidence. I I think it's really, especially IRL, I mean. Um, I think I used to be someone who bowed down a lot, especially in real life. Online, not so much. And the reason for why on the internet is, I think, is quite simple. There's no consequences on the internet. On the internet, you can be whoever you want, and the only thing you really have to worry about are negative comments from people. As as long as there's no direct threat to your life or safety, you have nothing to worry about. Like, what is it actually going to do to me to have a bunch of people dislike me? Nothing. They're just amorphous creatures in the wired, like strings of ones and zeros, uh, abstract concepts that have no immediate relevance to me. In real life, it's a little bit more tricky because to see people the way I just described, it requires a degree of dehumanization, which I think is unnatural for humans to engage in. But as time has gone on and I've met more and more negative people, I've found the the best option and also the easiest option is the one that seems the hardest at first, which is to just say what you think in a manner that is so blunt that those people are kicked to the curb immediately. Like, if you open with your harshest take, it's like a pleb filter. It's like automatic gatekeeping because you'll know who's a real one and who's not. And so what you're doing is quality control. You're filtering out the people who you wouldn't actually enjoy talking to that much by doing that. And so that's the way I see it. I see being confident about one's own beliefs, and self as a pleb filter, and that just benefits me. Like, it's in my self-interest. It's in my self-interest to be honest. Big agree about the dehumanization thing. I've seen too many people use that method to increase their own self-worth. Yeah, I don't think that's good. Um, how do you feel about being watched by normies not engaging with your content, but watching for academic interest of this niche lifestyle? I think that's great. I think people who are more academically or analytically minded should be seeking out the perspectives of people who they are very unlikely to engage with otherwise or just see, uh, because even if it doesn't change who they are, like if they don't become, I don't know, more libertarian or schizo or whatever, uh, it's nonetheless good for cultivating a broader understanding of like humans and the variations in human life. And this, I think this is a net positive for the world because it increases like societal empathy. It makes it to where um, perhaps if they do encounter someone akin to myself, they won't meet them immediately with revulsion. They'll take a moment to think about the things I've explained and articulated, and then show a little bit more empathy to that person. Realize that weirdos are your neighbors. Normies literally live vicariously through Osaka, seething at the freedom he has. Um, I, as egocentric as it might sound, I kind of agree, at least for certain people. Um, I like it's a little conceited to say, but I definitely think there are some people out there who I am one of them. I see. Um, I think you're definitely less of an NPC than a lot of people though. Rent free. Uh, like for for the NPCs that hypothetically live vicariously through me, hopefully one day I can inspire you to be less NPC. That's all I can say. Cultivating a broader understanding of humans increases social empathy. That's perfect. You're actually rather wise and based. You live on the edge of human experience, and I'm so glad you share it. Thank you. Um, that means a lot to me. Yeah, I think empathy is incredibly important. I couldn't have conversations with most people like you are having. Seems people don't think this deep, or if you try, they give you weird judgment, it seems. Yeah, there seems to be like society enforces not thinking. Like if you try to have an in-depth conversation with a lot of people, like it I don't know where this began, but there's this intuitive response that what you're doing is like an antisocial behavior. And all of human behavior, I think, is basically a reciprocal relationship. So as we grow up, we're taught to intuitively see certain things as antisocial behavior and others as pro-social behavior. And so when someone engages in an antisocial behavior, it begets the same. It warrants that response in the mind of the person who is on the receiving end of it. And so for whatever reason, and there's not really a like a lot of explanations about this that I've seen, talking very analytically about topics of this nature is intuitively seen as antisocial. And and so the kind of revulsion you're met with is a reciprocal one. It's reciprocity. Um, and I don't think that's good. I think we need to be changing the attitudes surrounding that. This also gets into the topic of addiction as well. Like the reason why for so long addicts have been vilified by society and treated as moral failures is because we've, due to decades of drug war propaganda, been taught to intuitively see the person engaging in some form of substance use as antisocial, as criminal, and therefore it begets the same in response for someone to respond in kind. Now, attitudes about this are changing steadily over time, but that's a major hurdle in how we think about addicts that I think is only increasing criminality amongst that population who is afflicted by this problem, and compelling them to use more as well because they're isolated by society. And what happens when people are isolated? Well, they they fall into these sorts of coping mechanisms, which again only furthers the problem at hand. uh, do you think society shows more contempt for outsiders now than in the past? No, I don't think so. If you know too much about a subject matter, that is seen as a negative thing. Talk about Netflix instead. Yeah, I think it's been that way for a long time. It's just that, the Netflix of yesterday, uh, was something else. You know, before Netflix, there was Netflix. I love movies and YouTube videos about heroin addicts. Yeah, me too. Although I feel like a lot of films about the subject do kind of a, a poor job at explaining what it's actually like. Like one of the movies I hate the most is Requiem for a Dream, because I don't think I've seen a more overtly unscientific portrayal of drugs just to like evoke the feeling of tragedy. It's like such a blatantly dishonest movie. It's insane. Um, Train Spotting is a better movie than Requiem for a Dream. I feel like post 2019, you know, and many others could later be considered historically as a movement for a type of documenting antisocial artists. Many people since have been emulating it. Yeah, it's surprising how many people have jumped onto this whole Denpa thing. Like, it's a surprising amount of people. Um, I think me and No both need to we need to start reinventing ourselves a bit more because the format of the vlog has been done over so many times in this kind of schizo way that we've been doing it. I think something needs to be changed up. I was talking at the beginning of the stream that I need to experiment more. Sounds like your cat is going to town your couch. It is what it is. LMAO, director of Requiem, was like, Jared Leto, don't have sugar, and you will know that it's what it's like to quit heroin. Yeah, that guy's really fucking cringe. Um, what's your thoughts on Donnie Darko? I don't have any thoughts. I have no thoughts. Um, uh, couch mogged. Um, yeah, like, oh, don't mess with my phone.